Okay, I'm going to go ahead and call the August 28th, 2017 Board of Trustees meeting to order and ask everyone to please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call, please. George.
Trustee Kishaba.
Got it. Present.
Trustee Saturn.
Present.
Trustee Narodowski.
Present.
Trustee Graffia.
Present.
Supervisor Sweeney.
Present. Does anyone have any public comment? If you do, I just ask that you just speak up to the microphone so we can pick you up a little bit better on the video.
Hello. How do you notify the public of special board meetings?
I'll give that answer. Normally, we don't have a back and forth with public comment, but normally, if special board meetings, we publish it in a newspaper, typically in the Herald and/or Journal and Topics newspaper.
The Herald and what else?
The Journal and Topics newspaper, the Daily Herald and the Journal and Topics newspaper.
Is there a certain time limit?
There is. We can, depending on the meeting, if it's an emergency or not, there are different restrictions, and we'll get that to you. Paul, if you would provide that information, that'd be great.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other public comment? Okay. All right, discussion and potential action on approval of minutes. We have, I know George has had his hands full, still working on July meeting, but we tabled the June 26th board meeting minutes. So I will open that up for discussion.
I had no questions.
I know last month it seemed that we agreed at least on a portion of an amendment to section X, item A. The sentence that says Acting Chair Kashaba also noted two examples, what she considered to be inappropriate expenditures. A letter to township residents apologizing for a newsletter article that proved to contain fraudulent information, and the ordering of a pump without the highway commissioner's knowledge. That
was purchasing.
yeah, the last section there
Yeah.
should read purchasing of a pump without the highway commissioner's, not just knowledge, authority. In addition, the last sentence, there was just a small name change there. It says, motion to approve the employee handbook. That should read, motion to approve policy for purchasing authority instead. So just a minor error there. Any other discussion on those minutes?
No.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes with those changes. Is there a second? Seconded by Trustee Saturn. Any further discussion? Motion, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We have no presentations. Reports, Connie, in the Assessor's Office.
You have my written report.
If you would please stand up there, make it official, that'd be great.
You have my monthly written report. If you have any questions, I'd be delighted to answer them.
Well, first of all, may I compliment you on a tremendously accurate report? Thank you very much.
You're entirely welcome.
Didn't the tax bills come out?
Tax bills were due and payable August 1st. We always have a bleed over of people who have not paid their taxes by that time. We do assist them by filing them online, paying them online for them. It's a service we provide at no cost. However, of course, the county does charge $1. But from that standpoint, we have a lot of people that have come in after the fact. They truly did not realize what the financial impact of the triennial reassessment was going to be.
Breakout was a little clearer.
The result of the triennial was felt with this second installment. So I think the public tends to be lured into a false sense of security when the second installment comes out in 2016. They think that, hey, not too much is going on. Well, then, of course, the full impact hits second installment 2017. We're still cleaning up from dropped exemptions, doing certificates of error. I think probably one of the most salient points right now is that we were finally closed on Friday with the county. Our values, as far as assessed values, are now firm, and we are now in a position to take pre-filings for the Board of Review. Now, the Board of Review has not officially opened yet, but because our numbers are certified, we can file online for our taxpayers with the Board of Review prior to opening. So we expect to see quite a few people who are very upset with their tax bills. So they've been calling and asking when they can file.
So we haven't hit the heavy part yet?
No.
Okay.
No, usually, and this brings us to a decision that I will make by tomorrow. We generally send out a mass email and a robocall when we're open for Board of Review. We will do that again. However, I'm thinking of doing the same thing now, saying you may come in and pre-file. I don't want it to be a point of confusion because there are certain cases where evidentiary procedures have to be filed. If it's a straight residential, hey, not a problem. We can do the research, we can do the filing. They're in and out, maybe 10 minutes, 20 if it's more complicated. But that's a decision that I will make tomorrow.
And how long is the Board of Review open for?
The Board of Review is open for 30 days, and we have not yet gotten that signal. Usually, once we're closed for final values, it's in 2 to 3 weeks. Any other questions you have?
Thank you, Connie. Clerk's report, Clerk Bussey.
Yeah, I've just begun putting out a short report for a couple reasons. First of all, I wanted to highlight some of the FOIAs that we're getting in so that people are aware of that without getting into some long-winded presentation. We've had more FOIAs in the last 6 months than we've had the previous 2 years. And the report I put out kind of gives you an idea of what these FOIAs are. And if you'd like to get more specific information, Paul has the FOIAs available for you to look at and the answers we've sent in response, but it gives you an idea of what people are asking for and when we responded. I think Paul's done a real nice job of getting responses together for me to see, and then he gets them out right away. A lot of these FOIAs are, I think, in some ways fishing expeditions to just gather just throwing out, asking a variety of questions, and then they'll focus in on one area and come back on that. So that was the FOIAs. If any questions on that?
Paul's the deputy clerk, is that correct?
Pardon?
Paul, are you the deputy clerk?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Yep. The other issue here is phone usage. We had some discussions in the last couple of meetings, and I'm just going to give you a little bit of information of what we found. On phones, there's no limitations to what a resident attending the meeting can do with their phone. There's no limitation in terms of employee. There is a court case, and there are issues in terms of what a elected official can do. And the primary case on here that sort of lays the groundwork for this is City of Champaign versus Lisa Madigan. And in this ruling, basically what it implies is that a trustee or a board member who uses their phone to communicate with another board member during the meeting, that text or those emails are FOIAble. The other issue on that is even outside of a meeting, if you are emailing or texting more than one person, 2 people, 2 trustees, it becomes a quorum, and that's FOIAble too. Now, how do they enforce this? That becomes the issue, and sometimes Sometimes a resolution is through an arbitration, sometimes it's through just cooperation among the members of the board, sometimes it's court. So my feeling is that what one of the townships that Paul reached out to gather some additional information, what other people did, is they just do not use their phone during their phone just gets shut down, put aside during the meeting. And if there's an emergency, you could have Paul's or the administrator's phone number given to your family. They can call him and then reach out to somebody on the board. I don't know if you need a policy. I don't know what needs to be done in that regard, but I think that's probably to the board's advantage to avoid any improprieties or any issues is to put the phones, shut them down and put them away during the meeting.
I agree.
Anything else? Okay.
Can I ask a question? That FOIA, the board meeting on June 26th, are those recordings that Andrea made hers, or are they ours?
No, the ones for June, for the June meeting you're talking about?
No, Andrea, I thought that you recorded 3.
She recorded, she gave me a copy of the April, and she does not have copies of the May or June. They don't exist.
Okay.
And so the FOIA was for the June. They said they heard that there was a copy. They asked for a copy to be sent. We responded saying that we don't have a copy and we don't have access to a copy right now.
I thought what it said was that the copy, that the thing doesn't exist. I thought that's
It
what.
doesn't exist.
Yeah, I thought that's what the response said.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, and I showed George my phone to show him it does not exist.
Any other questions for George? Okay. Highway Commissioner report, Art.
Pretty busy last month and a half or so. You have my report. We had quite a few tree damage, Lincoln Martha around there. In fact, our crews were still out there today. Basically, that's the report there. We have some other items going on with road construction. That's about it. Any questions?
Any questions for Art? No? Okay, Supervisor's report. There's some updates on the back-to-school blast-off. We collected over 700 items more than last year for a total of just over 15,000 items. 14 boxes with school supplies and a variety of other things. Backpacks were picked up by District 59. Each school received a box and a bag of materials. In addition, 10 boxes of supplies were delivered to the district building. Once things are distributed, the district will let us know what else might be needed, and we will use monetary donations to purchase those items to help out a little bit. The job fair we had just past Thursday, approximately 150 to 170 people attended. We got most of their information, but there was a second door that people kind of were sneaking in, so we didn't get an exact count, but from the folks we checked in, that's what we had, and then we estimated a little bit more. We had 43 vendors. We got good responses from both job seekers and employers. Bob in our employment center made 8 appointments with new clients. And now Paul made an effort with Lisa to go around and talk to other employers to find out how we could get their jobs right away to put on our job board. So networking done with the employers on our part as well. And then we had a seminar prior to the job fair on how to work a job fair, which 30 people attended. As far as events that we're hosting in GA in September, we're doing a Northwest Suburban Caseworkers event. We'll learn about coordinated entry, the new HUD mandated program to help coordinate housing for chronically homeless residents. EGTAC, or Elk Grove Township Agency Collaborative. The topic this month will be how to address mental illness with families and the clients we serve. Presentations given by Kenneth Young Center. And then the churches meeting after the initial get to know you, we'll be discussing the holiday programs and how we can coordinate efforts. due to the budget crisis in July, LAHEAP is going to be delayed a little bit, back to October 1st. But we're all ready to go, trained up, and ready to hit the ground running when that program starts. Since the last meeting, 3 clients found jobs. 1 was terminated for rule violations. 2 clients started receiving supplemental security income, and then we received approximately $10,000 in reimbursement from SSI. And I'm happy to report that we just got approved, our 501c3 status got approved. We received a letter on August 15th for our Elk Grove Township Community Empowerment Fund. In addition to that, you have our standard reports, general assistance, our transportation, our job center, and all of our financials, monthly financials. Any questions for me?
I brought up before, why doesn't Lisa come in and give the GA report?
Yeah,
We
you'd
used to have
offered this,
Julie-
you'd offered the
Julie used to
suggestion.
do that, and Paul should actually be giving the administrator's report. I
So
mean, we
you'd-
used to have Linda give a report, and Julie gave a report. Why aren't they available to
Can I-
give reports? Well, I didn't finish
I'm
my
answering my
question.
question. Okay.
Excuse me.
You had offered it as a suggestion last month. As the township supervisor, I take my job very seriously. I'm the head of the general operating division, if you want to call it, as well as the supervisor of general assistance. As the head of those divisions, I will continue to give the reports. I'm happy if they have any questions to get answers for you. So please, if you have questions at a meeting, before a meeting, after a meeting, please let me know. But I'm not going to delegate my responsibility to give reports on divisions that I'm in charge of. You know, we continue this, I mean, this context, this ongoing, I mean, if you had questions for Paul, he's available. You can reach out to him anytime. Sue Ellen did that today, asked a question, and Paul was very responsive. I just find this funny, this context where, oh, this isn't political, but I have yet to hear you ask Connie to have Lori come in and give a report. I have yet to hear you ask Art to ask Wayne to come in and give a report. But for me, it's different. I didn't hear you say anything
You're
when Sandy.
being out of order, all
when
right?
Sandy
We are
Novak-
not here,
when
we
San-
are
I'm
not here.
I have the floor. I have the.
No, you
I
are
have
out
the
of
floor.
order.
I'm
This is
answering
what
your
you did
questions.
the last
I'm
meeting,
answering
and
your
this
questions.
is what you're doing now.
I'm answering your question.
You've already
When,
answered it.
no,
Now you're talking
I
about
have
other
the floor.
things.
If you want to start, you wanted the time to answer
We
the question.
are the board. We do not answer to
answer
you,
your
and
question.
you cannot treat
That's
us
fine.
this way.
Let me answer
And
this
you are not
question.
going to treat us in an uncivil manner. Do you understand?
Stop interrupting me.
You
Stop
interrupted
interrupting
me,
me.
and you interrupt us all the time. Now, what I was saying is that we used to have a report from the office manager, and we had a report from the head of GA.
That are now
And-
included in my report.
But this is something we'd like to know what these employees are doing. And Paul is a town employee. He is not a GA employee. So we do
Right.
determine things like his salary and things like that.
Absolutely.
We
No
would
one's
like
saying
to
that.
know what he's doing because
I'm
we don't
giving a
know.
report.
And I just give a suggestion and you start barking at me. Now stop it.
Give me a break.
All you are saying is that, oh,
Okay.
you're so political and everything else. Now treat us civilly.
That's what I'm trying to do. You jumped in. This idea, you want to know what's going on a daily basis, but you're not asking Connie the same questions. You're not asking Art the same questions. I didn't
I'm
hear you
well
say
aware
anything.
of what Connie and Art are doing in their report. We never had her employees giving us a report. We never had Art's employees giving us a report. We used to have a report from Linda, and we used to have a report from Julie. Now, that's all I'm saying. And she gave a very good report, and we knew what was going on. You just giving the report, we'd like to hear what they have to say.
So
The point
you try to
is-
give the impression that Julie Villarreal was the last general assistance director. The last
She
general
was a
assistance
wonderful general
No one's-
assistance director.
Of course, that's
And I
fine.
would like to see any future
So the-
general assistance directors to emulate her.
So the last general assistance director did not come to meetings. My predecessor did not require her to come to meetings.
And I objected to that as well.
Oh, when was this?
We're not on trial, Mike, okay?
So,
What she's asked, you've answered. Can we please move on?
well, you tell me if we can move on.
Yes,
These,
let's move
these
on.
things were, you know, I mean, this, you want to continue to single out. You offered a suggestion last month. I am not going to delegate my responsibility. So,
You
there.
gave no answer last month, okay?
My answer is I'm not going to
Let's
delegate my
move
authority.
on. Let's move on.
Okay. Any questions about my report?
Oh, 501c3. Does that require a separate governing board or advisory board or something like that?
We will have an advisory board.
Who will that board be?
We
Is
have,
that-
we have asked some folks to participate. Paul can get that, get you that list.
Okay.
Okay, no correspondence. Let me see, old business, so for the last couple months, the policy for purchasing approval of authority has been discussed. And I'll open that up to the floor for any discussion.
I'm not changing my vote at all. I adhere to the $500 limit.
Any other discussion?
Well, I did ask Paul to send me the Resolution 2015-4 that we talked about. So I did notice in there that it says one of the things covered is expenses that must be paid because of emergency situations.
Okay,
So that was one thing we were concerned about. If,
sure.
so that has answered some of my concerns, because it is covered under this.
I'm sorry, it's covered under,
Resolution 2015-4.
that's the old resolution.
This is the current
Cur-
resolution.
But,
This is not the purchasing authority for the
gotcha,
supervisor.
gotcha, thank you.
I guess my question is, what does that translate to, Sue Ellen? I mean, are you open to discussing how we move forward? I mean, I offered a suggestion last month, is that we, since this policy is now being used as a political football, that we just nix it, and we work with 2015-04. And we identify, we go through it, identify the expenses that we can pay ahead of time on there that we agree with. We can add to it, we can remove things, and then that will be the list I work off of. And then beyond that, if it's not on that list, we set a spending limit for the supervisor outside of an emergency, but that we can, you know, I would come to the board with. That was my suggestion last month. You know, I provided a survey to everybody about the surrounding townships, because that was a big conversation about what other townships are doing. The whole purpose was to bring us in line with what other townships are doing in the area. Well, it turns out that this $500 limit has taken us out of line with what other townships are doing. I'm not concerned about what other townships are doing. All I'm saying is I think that's something we should discuss, or at least point out that, you know, nobody in this area has a $500 limit, not even close. So I'm saying the limit's not necessary when we have a resolution where we can list items that the board agrees to pay ahead of time, and then if it's not on that list, we can add to it. If we'd like to take things off over the period of time, we can do that. And then if it's not on that list, we set a limit where the board can come. I mean, look, if Palatine, you know, we talked about Palatine ad nauseum. So, I mean, if it's not on that list and we say, okay, well, nothing above $5,000. I mean, we can agree on some common sense things here. That was my point. So, I don't know how anyone feels about that. That was my proposal last month.
Sue Ellen,
Yes,
you had said that you were going to try to
I
make some,
was,
did
and
you
then
make any?
after I got this information, I didn't feel it was needed.
Oh, okay.
Because I saw the emergency issues, but I did talk to a Schaumburg trustee about this survey. I sent it to him and asked him, and he said the fact that they have no limits for their supervisor, the supervisor still comes to them with things, you know, does not spend a huge amount on her own.
So let's spell, that's all, let's spell that out. That's all I'm saying. Work with me to spell
I'm
something out.
comfortable with leaving it at 500 and you coming to us if there's anything that doesn't fit into this. And this is very broad.
So we're not, So we're not interested in bringing us in line with other townships, is that what I'm hearing?
Correct.
So now we don't care about that?
We do care, but because of issues in the
A complete 180
past.
from last month?
No,
It was about bringing us in line with other
If
townships.
you want to
Now
put
it's
forward a resolution or something, please do. You're not
Well,
going to
that's-
berate us,
not. I'm not
okay?
berating you, I'm asking a
We
question.
have voted, and we did it. So if you have something else that you know, another resolution or something you would like us to vote on, feel free.
See, I've mentioned it. You want to pretend that I haven't proposed anything. So Resolution
You
2015-.
are not going to berate us. We thought about it. We have thought about it. We already voted on it, and it's over. You keep berating us and thinking that we're on trial. Now, I mean, if you're going to continue in this vein, this can't continue.
Okay, well, you say it's over, but it was tabled from last month.
No, but we have already passed the 500-hour limit. We have done our discussion. She said what she has got to say. You're not going to berate us for what we believe.
So it
Now,
was
if you would
tabled?
like to put a resolution forward, please do, and we'll vote on it.
So it was tabled from last month.
And we just discussed it.
And now we don't want to
Just discussed it.
well, we
don't
did
wanna-
discuss it. I brought up what
She
I
brought it up. I said
found
my
out,
vote
so
will
it's
not
But we
change.
don't, but my point is that it's hard to have a continuing discussion when you table something.
We just discussed it. We just discussed
I
it.
finish my thought,
I
please?
said my vote doesn't change, and she said that she is keeping with her vote. So
Okay.
if you would like to bring a resolution forward, please do.
So what I'm trying to do is try to find a way where we can find some common ground. Because you can't, if you table something, that means.
That we will
you wanna-
discuss it at the next meeting.
Well, this is unbelievable. Can I finish a thought? So, yeah, we'll finish the discussion, but you continue the discussion. So everything that I pointed to last month was about what other townships do, because that was a big concern over folks on this board. Well, what do other townships do? Let's bring ourselves in line with other townships. That was very important to members of this board.
I'm not
So-
changing my vote.
Okay, we understand. So if the goal is here to bring ourselves in line with other townships, then I've proven through the survey that now we're out of line. We were in line, now we're out of line. All I'm saying is, what sense does a $500 limit make when you don't put any context to it or substance to it? Well, I mean,
We don't
let's
have
just
to
get
answer
rid of
your
it and
questions.
work.
We don't have to answer your
That's
questions.
fantastic. I
Okay.
know you want to avoid questions.
Yes,
So-
because we're not going to be
Well,
berated.
I know you want to avoid having to answer questions. But that's my point. If we're going to continue a conversation, all I was using is your logic, your train of thought, to find out what other townships are doing. And now you want to do a 180 and say, well, it doesn't matter what other townships are doing, because this wasn't really about what other townships are doing. It was just about a way to make an argument so that we could pass the $500 threshold. That's really what you're trying to justify your political maneuver. And I just don't understand why we're operating this way when I offered a common sense solution. Let's just work off of 2015-04. We can have a
Mike,
committee
if we
of the whole
don't
meeting.
agree with you, we're terrible. I overheard
No.
you berating another trustee about if anyone crosses you, you're going to get them. You sent me a
Oh, that's
very
are you
disturbing
kidding
letter,
me?
all right, which was very disturbing. I mean, I feel
Are
I'm
you-
being threatened, okay?
You,
So just
this
listen.
is amazing.
Just
you lie.
stop.
You lie about me in an
How
open
did I
meeting.
lie? How did I lie?
You lie about Paul in an open meeting.
How did I lie?
You lie about research you did to this board.
I did not.
Oh, you absolutely did.
I did not.
You absolutely did.
Oh, my gosh.
You
All
lie
right.
about you lie about
I am
Paul's
not
spending. You lie about
going-
Palatine spending authority.
I am not.
You
The
lie-
Palatine Spending Authority was told me before they changed it in May
Okay.
by a trustee who was there before, and I will not accept you treating me in this manner.
So you lied
are
about
out
Paul.
of line.
You lied about
You are
Paul.
out of line.
You lied about me saying I
Point of order,
misappropriated
you are
funds.
out of line.
You say you didn't lie, but you lied about me misappropriating funds. You lied about Paul. You said that he didn't give you the documents that you
I move
asked
to
for.
adjourn.
I second.
All right, motion to adjourn, seconded by Trustee Saturn. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Hey.
Motion carries.
Ridiculous.